Felix. It's a pleasure for me to meet you here at WordCamp Europe and to know more about your work, about your multi-site work. Can you tell us your multi-site history? How have you got involved in multi-site development at all?
Yeah. Hey, first of all, thanks for the invitation. I started working with multi-site about almost 3.5 years ago, I would say. I hadn't been part of the WordPress community back then, but I got a client that was a producer of music events like festivals and concerts, I have to admit I took over this project, so there was already a multi-site. I didn't set it up from scratch. It was a multi-network actually, where they had one network for the core site of that event producer, which has all the events. Then they had another network, and that network actually only had one site, but it was the root site of this whole setup. And then it had a second network for festival sites, which is kind of like maybe comparable to WordCamp org, because they have these different festivals, like we have different WordCamps, and they also have it every year. So we have different so it's pretty much the same. Like domain, like it always has a year, the festival, and the exactly. So. So that was the second network, and the point of doing it that way was that there was also like a festival theme, which was particularly useful for that for the festivals, and we used that same theme across the whole network, and made it like customizable so that the pages sites look different, but they all pretty much had the same kind of content, and all the post sites were also similar. And that's why it made sense to use multi-network for that setup, because like the festival sites were completely different from the main site, which had like regular concerts. And there was this third network which I barely touched, I have to say, which was like they had partner companies that also had the websites on that environment. But that client got me confronted me with multi-site and even multi-network, and
but you didn't have you haven't got any experience before?
With WordPress I have, but that was my multi-site.
And how did you feel for the first time? Was it really complicated, or it was all right then?
The good thing is, like I said, I didn't have to set it up.
Right.
I got to experience how it works slowly because it was running already. Of course, like when the issues came up, at first I was like, okay, what is this? I had to find out how things work. I think that at least the core concept of multi-site is not that complicated. So I guess I got around it when I needed to.
So this was your starting point, right?
Yes.
And can you think of some particular project that you developed, that you made, that you're particularly proud of?
So, what we did is it was for the same client. We started later. It's not directly related to multi-site, but we did build an app using Ionic framework, like a hybrid. It was a hybrid mobile app for that client, where we connected to the REST API of all these sites, and so we built like a single GitHub project, which we then reused for all the different festival apps, but we also had like one aggregate app that is for the entire multi-site network.
Like you have for WordCamps at Apple Store?
I haven't actually used that. No, I don't know. Possibly, yeah.
But you managed to get with REST API the information from all that multi-site network websites and combine them into the app?
Yes, we had that, but we also had separate apps. for the festivals. But yeah, it was all connected. Depending on whether sometimes users just wanted to go to one festival, but some maybe they're more interested and they want the whole experience. But it was all managed by one code base, and you could, yeah, pretty much like you could argue like maybe it was almost like the festival apps were just like one side of the multi-site, and yeah, the whole thing was the whole multi-site essentially.
Right.
And yeah, and that was an interesting project. Yeah, well, it was, of course, for one part, it was the mobile app was built with JavaScript framework based on Angular back then. And then the rest of the integrations, which spanned, to a huge extent, they spanned the single individual sites, but also multi-site, the whole network. And we needed to deal with like users, for example. We offloaded the whole sign up and authorization process to Facebook API because all these people are young, they have Facebook, so why not use that? and so we connected like the sign up flow in WordPress and authorization by using the Facebook APIs. And because the REST API doesn't really have secure authorization at that point, it's really hard to implement it with OAuth 2. So we just use Facebook to get that done. And they were just fun projects that were part of this whole thing. Like we had built an interactive map of each festival. There was an interactive map that the designer created an image for. We used the Google Maps API to overlay it at the right coordinates. You know, like you can put a picture over the Google map, and then we had an interface in the WordPress backend where the organizer of the festival could log in and place pins.
Cool. And this was across the whole multi-site network.
Yes. So yeah, and it was all fetched from there and displayed in the mobile app.
Now, when this project is in production, right?
Yeah.
When it's functional and ready. How do you feel? Was it a good decision to choose multi-site? Are there any other ways to do what you've done?
Well, we would absolutely use. Well, you can always use individual sites for that, but I think, I think you could possibly have used a multi-site for only the festival part, and then a single site for the other.
But the maintenance won't be
exactly so
easy.
The best part of, I think, the main argument for using the multi-network there was the consistent user base. Like we just easily had all the users in sync. If you have an account with that one festival, you can easily use the same account for each other festival or the main.
So user doesn't have to register for each festival.
Yes.
Every time, right?
Yeah. And we didn't actually do that, but I'm just now thinking you could have done something like maybe someone favorites an artist, and then in the next festival they still have their favorite artist or something like that.
Yes, there is a whole area for customization and for providing more interesting solutions for the client and for end user.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. And do you remember any obstacles, some that you can predict, predictable obstacles or not predictable that came out during development?
I have to think. Not actually. Well, may sound like miracle, but not related to multi-site.
That really sounds like miracle.
Yeah, it was tricky getting the authorization in place
with the book.
Yes, but it was not really related to multi-site. More like in WordPress in general, in connected with the Facebook.
That sounds very inspiring. How do you feel? Is it a good solution at all for?
Like I said, I'm sorry, but like I said, the setup was in place.
Okay.
So initially, I did not have to fight like for example, detecting which site we're on in a multi-network. I know now that it's not that trivial. but that was already done before I jumped on that project.
Someone has prepared this. Right. Okay. And how do you feel now? Is it a good solution at all for any other company in that area, in that niche, organizing events and not just music festivals and music events, but any other kind of events, to use multi-site for their needs?
Absolutely. If you, I
There are
think
some ticket aggregators and everything that can use actually multi-site. Do I get it right?
sorry.
Do I get it right that we can easily put a ticket aggregator or any event agency at all to use multi-site with success?
I think for any kind of event that like reoccurs in some period of time, like annually, for example, they usually don't change that much. Like I said, WordCamp is a perfect example of that. Their websites, they also have a base theme that you can just tweak a little bit, and they reuse it everywhere. And I'm not sure from the top of my head if it's in the same environment that WordPress.org and the rest of it is, but it may be. Well, I know that WordPress, the WordPress.org website is, or everything around it is a multi-network.
Right.
So the WordCamp part could be a network. I'm not sure if it's actually true.
But it absolutely.
But it would be it's a very perfectly valid use case.
Yes, but we know for sure that it's multi-site.
Yes.
At least.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And that's another example of using multi-site to network company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And well, I also I'm obviously now a huge fan of multi-network because I was exposed to it. At the same time while learning multi-site, I immediately had to learn multi-network, which is an even bigger edge case than multi-site. But and I think you should think twice before you set up multi-network. Like that is a use case which you need much less frequent. Yeah, but I would say, like I mentioned, I would say at the point of the festival website it was mostly the consistent user base that was the argument for using multi-network. But I think the main scenario I can think of is like universities, like what Jeremy is working on.
Like a classical example now.
Huh?
Like a classical example now.
Yes.
Right.
Like university is perfect for multi-network. You don't want to have 1,000 multi-sites to manage. You can just do it in one thing, and it's all, even just the hierarchical organization of it. You have this whole university, which is the global, the whole thing, and then you have the faculties, which could be each of them it could be a network,
right?
And then whatever is needed, you could also have other networks. Another good example would be think about maybe anything that is. I've not actually worked on such a project, I have to say, but anything that is anything you think of can be a multi-site. Maybe you want to make it multilingual, and if it's already multi-site without being multilingual, you could make it multi-network, and then each site becomes a network where the translations are the sites.
For the multilingual compatibility.
Yes. That could be an interesting use case because you can always think of, well, if the one site has to work completely the same, like all the translations of it, but the other sites are separate, so then you could use a multi-network for that as well.
Yeah, sounds very, very interesting. And from your experience working with non-technical stuff, were there any problems for non-technical stuff to manage to maintain afterwards? To working with WordPress Multisite or WordPress Multisite network, or it's as easy and user friendly as our usual WordPress network?
I definitely think, well, if you expose people to multi-site, you need to train them more than with regular WordPress. Or maybe not more because it's not that much content to learn, but it definitely needs extra attention. I generally think multisite is definitely less user friendly than the rest of WordPress, which I think about as it's kind of logic because multisite was merged. That was at 3.0, I think, so it was merged into an already old code base.
Right.
So it kind of started years after the original WordPress had started. So it had less time to get that good. Like I see it that way.
Right.
So I think there's a reason that you need to go into the config file to actually allow it. It should not be as trivial to set up because you need to be aware of what you're doing. But I absolutely have the goal of getting multisite to a point where it's as user friendly as the rest, and hopefully at some point we don't even need to go to the config to enable it.
So this is one of the points of WordPress multisite development improvement in future, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any other examples of usually how it should be transformed?
Yeah. Yes. At the moment we are working on improving the APIs themselves because they are messy and old. They're still what was originally merged to the most part, and this will then be a foundation to actually work with all the user-facing enhancements in the admin. We want to be a user of the REST API. We want to improve the UI of the admin screens, particularly the adding a user screen is messy because you have two forms, one for existing, one for new users, which confuses me every time I want to do that.